Hello, hello. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Drama Free Gaming. It is what it says, and it says what it is. I am your host, End Time, here on youtube.com/drama free gaming. We do appreciate you hanging with us. This is our 50th episode, and I'm just thrilled to be here. Didn't imagine that we would get to the big 5-0. And if you go back and you listen to the prelude, you listen to that very first intro where I talked about the vision for this podcast, I can guarantee you that it was nothing that I could have imagined it has become, and it continues to evolve. And it's just been a ride. It's something that I enjoy doing very much. And I've said, like, maybe like other podcasters and hopefully other people who do anything in this life, once it stops being fun, I'm going to stop doing it. This is not work for me. It is entertainment. It is a hobby. It is something I enjoy, but would like to see get to the next level eventually. And speaking about the next level, you can also catch us on anchor.fm/DFG podcast. Again, that's anchor.fm/DFG podcast. And from there, you can actually plug into iTunes. We're on Pocket Cast, Chromecast. We are on a bunch of different places. So, what's going on, James? What's up, bro? Thank you for tuning in and catching us live already in the chat. We're good to go, man. We're good to go here. It is I and one other panel member here from the DFG community over at Discord. Come hang out with us as well. But let me introduce him, the one and only Almost Sleek, or like I like to call him, Sleek. What's going on?
What's happening?
I like Sleek, short and sweet. What's happening? He's in the background here actually gaming. He's going to share a little bit about that here in a moment. But if you catch the podcast title, and we're going to talk about that today, I kind of piggyback off of the Sleeky Says segment that we have here, where we're going to speak about platform focus, if that is either a good idea or a bad idea, good for gamers or not. But yeah, we need to start asking the question, or hopefully pondering, are exclusives a dying species? And we'll get to that here in a moment. But ponder that, if you will, because there's one thing that I don't personally like. I don't know how you feel about it, Sleek, but I don't like this whole console war fanboy stuff. I mean, I have my preference of where I play, what I play, who I play with, but I'm not all about, yeah, my console, my gaming is better than yours, and I hope yours crashes and burns. How do you feel about that, Sleek?
Um, Honestly, I'm not a fan of it. I mean, like you said, you have your preferences. You like what you like, you dislike what you dislike. But either way, each each thing brings its own uniqueness to the table. Um, I can tell you, I have Sony, what's that? A PlayStation, Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
PC, Switch.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, each each one um, is catered for me in a different way. Um, for an example, PlayStation and Switch have the majority of the JRPGs, which we all know is my favorite genre.
Yep.
Xbox and PC, they bring the beautiful multiplayer games that I enjoy playing, and a majority of the folks I know have an Xbox, so that's my main console. Always has been, always will be. Um, but fortunate enough to have one of everything.
Yeah, it's like you said, Sleek. At one point, because and that's something I might discuss during this podcast. And guys, before you boo me or tune out or whatever and say, "Oh, I thought you were a real gamer and you didn't have any preferences." Hey, I prefer the Xbox platform. Always have, always will. But yes, I am on PC. I do have a Switch, and like I've said before, I have had PlayStations, multiple of them. I don't have a PlayStation right now. I really don't know if I'm gonna get a PlayStation 5, even if they do become available. Just because there's nothing on there that attracts me at this time. And everything that Xbox is doing is keeping me engaged. If you guys are watching this video on YouTube, you're gonna see that the footage that I captured, that's my footage, was my first time playing MLB the Show. That is captured on the Xbox Series X, and we'll talk about it. But yeah, I'm so glad that game is here and we're playing it. But yeah, like James says, unfortunately, the console war is pointless because PC rules all, and I am an Xbox man. Yeah, that's the truth, right? It's like the PC is where games are mostly developed on and for, and it's the flexibility, right, that PC gives you, that you can, I've heard you can play on a potato or you can play on a super high end PC, but you can play your games. And that's what matters at the end of the day, right? That you can play your games, access your games however you like on the platform that you most enjoy. But we'll talk some more about that. Sleek, I'm interested, and I'm interested in you guys who are listening to this, whether live now or whether you catch this on a replay. What are you currently playing? Leave us some comments, leave us some feedback. At the time of this recording, at the time of this podcast, MLB the Show is the hot thing. But Sleek, what are you playing?
Currently at this moment, I am multitasking, as you said earlier. I am playing Tales of Vesperia, the definitive edition, because it came to Game Pass, and I was pretty excited about it. I actually have it for PlayStation, um, but I actually haven't even opened it
Mm,
because, like I said, Game Pass, the beautiful thing, it came to it, and it's starting to bring more and more of the RPGs that I enjoy. That used to just be exclusive, if you want to use that word,
yeah.
to PlayStation or Nintendo.
How much of an
So
impact so far is this, a Game Pass having on you personally, just on a personal level, as far as you accessing games, playing games, and like you mentioned, RPGs.
so the good thing is, um, I I'm glad to see that they're expanding. Um, they're catering more towards that genre now, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's just been missing from the Xbox for a while. I mean,
Definitely in their
it,
portfolio, right?
yeah, I mean it has RPGs and JRPGs, but it just doesn't have, you know, any Final Fantasies or,
Right,
well,
right.
Of course, now they do with it
Yeah.
coming to Game Pass, but they didn't have any big series like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Tales of Vesperia actually was on Xbox 360, so I will say I just never played it on uh,
Yeah, on the
what
platform now,
360.
right on.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
right.
you were saying, and I'm gonna cut you off, and I'm sorry. It's like with Xbox being conscious of that gap, with the RPGs, because I see James in the chat talking about, "Hey man, give me a Call of Duty game and I'm good." Uh, that's what really the Xbox was known for, and I say was in the past tense because now you look at the serving, the smorgasbord here, the buffet of or buffet, however you want to pronounce that, um of Game Pass, and you really have a lot of choices, a lot of options given to you, and that number continues to grow.
Right. So I also want to say that it's really hard to explain the RPG genre, right? Because there's just so many. It's like an umbrella. You have your action RPGs, you have your MMOs, you have your JRPGs, you have, and we talked about this before
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, there's not there's not like many big series like Final Fantasy, but it did have like the Elder Scrolls, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's an awesome series. It did have Fable. Um,
And we
it
could
did
hear you, Jay,
have
just in case.
yeah, and it did have great RPGs, right? So
Right.
Infinite Discovery, everything. But like I said, the JRPGs is what I think it's really missing. Um, that's a whole group of gamers that are missing out. The opportunity to play if you're an Xbox person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
I'll tell you at one point how I looked at PlayStation, Sony, and how I looked at Xbox. I looked at Xbox as they're the they're the machine, they're the console made for and by good old Americans. It's our machine here in the States, you know. You had your Call of Duties, your first person perspective games, your Gears of War. You had these games, that we relate to. Um and I always looked at the PlayStation as, okay, these are the to me strange games, the JRPGs and all these other games that you just mentioned, MMOs and stuff, and I was like, okay, that's the other side of the world. That's
hmm
how I looked at it growing
Yeah.
up, and that's how I distinguished both, and I gravitated obviously towards the Xbox. I was a big Call of Duty Modern Warfare guy back in the days, and that's where I used to spend my time. If it wasn't that, it was Gears of War, playing Gears of War, and just playing those games that I found enjoyable. Not to say that I never played RPGs, but I wasn't doing it on Xbox. I was playing on Nintendo.
Right.
Sega Genesis, Sega Master System. That's when I played, Fantasy Star and those games, but never on an Xbox.
Right. Because it's more so like you were saying on the different side. It's like Western RPGs, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You could I don't want to say Western because you may misinterpret it as like a cowboys,
Yeah, no, we're
but
meaning like this
Western
hemisphere of the
Hemisphere.
world, right? There you
Yeah,
go. Yeah, there
we
you
have
go.
our own unique style of RPGs that we create.
Mm-hmm.
Not not we, but they have their own. They adopt some features from the East, but man, I the more that come from the Eastern side of the world and the games that they just produce are, to me, and Dark Dad will also agree with, it's just visually stunning, whether it be new modern day graphics or
Mm-hmm.
just those 16 8-bit, 24-bit. The soundtracks are amazing. Whether uh, the artistic styles, I think I just said that, but like the hand drawn,
Right.
you get like the 3D world with 2D sprites.
Right.
It's just aesthetically and just visually beautiful. So
Yeah,
it's nice to
I
see.
agree. It's definitely two different approaches, and we see the cultural aspect in the games. And again, is the audience, right? Who's engaging with these games. But I am glad that Xbox, Microsoft is paying attention and bringing these games into their platform and diversifying. Jay, can you hear us? Because I know you popped in the room and I see that Henyo popped in. I'm gonna unmute him now. But Jay, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. We hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. So apparently, I walked into an conversation about RPGs. My ears perked up for a minute.
Well, we were just talking about whatchamacallit, what we are playing, and I was asking the community to leave some comments as well. Henyo, if you muted yourself, I unmuted you, but I see that you muted yourself, so you're probably taking care of something. But I think I heard you there for a moment. But yeah, we were just talking about what were we playing. And Sleek was sharing he's playing Tales of Vesperia. He's playing it on Xbox through Game Pass. And so we were just having a little discussion. But how are you, Jay? What are you playing?
Uh, well, first off, I'd be lying to you guys said if I was okay, but that's a story for another time. As far as what I'm playing right now, I've actually gotten myself into Outriders.
Okay, okay. And Outriders has been
So
out here for a little whiles now, right? A couple of weeks.
a couple of weeks, I really just put my hands on it, and I'm trying to really get into the meat of a game like that. I consider it kind of like a division game. Nothing really happens until end game,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not taking it seriously until then.
Okay, okay, cool. Enyo, can you hear
And
us? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Jay. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
no, 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 bring him on in here. Get the old man in here.
Enyo,
I'm glad.
how are you, man?
I'm all right, man. Glad to hear you're playing Outriders. I've been writing that one myself.
Nice.
So I'm
Well,
good, man. I'm good. A little busy, but I'm good, man.
Cool, man.
How's everybody doing?
I'm glad that you was able to take a little bit of time. I know you rather be at the plate right now, swinging away and doing your thing, but I promise you guys and you guys listening, I'm gonna try to keep a tight ship tonight and not go too long. But what have you been playing? Like I can't guess.
So, so obviously MLB the Show with a little bit of frustration. There's been a lot of connectivity issues, so it hasn't been the most exactly like warm, fuzzy feeling. So it's been a lot of just like this morning they had connectivity issues. Last night they had connectivity issues, and when you go through these disconnects, you kind of lose out on the session you had, right? So you put in all that work and it goes down as a disconnect, and that's equivalent to, I don't know, to a death match in Call of Duty, and they cancel each other out. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, I didn't get the win. So a little bit of frustrating,
Mm,
but I'm trying to take in the game, and it's real pretty. I'm noticing the differences in the systems.
mm-hmm.
I've tried to log into the Xbox version of it, but I don't know if it's because a synchronization issue or what, but I haven't been able to play a game. So
Okay.
like it registers me as a PlayStation, like like it sees my account.
Mm-hmm.
It just I can't start up a game. I don't know what's that about. I haven't had time to deal with it,
Oh
but
wow, that's interesting. So you're primarily playing it on the PlayStation because you've been playing it for years on the PlayStation, but
yeah,
you're saying that when you try to come over to the Xbox and play it on Game Pass, it sees your profile as a PlayStation profile.
yeah.
Okay, but it's
Well, not as a PlayStation profile, but it sees my MLB the Show account.
oh okay because it carries
So
over. Obviously, it's cross-platform,
right,
right? But then it's not letting you
yeah.
play, or you haven't been able to
Yeah,
start
like
up.
yeah, and it's bad enough that I'm lucky to like actually connect. So when I do, it's like I'm not gonna fuck around, like I'm
Yeah,
just gonna play real quick.
gotcha.
So it just sucks. They took away my walk up Diddy feature. It's only
Mm.
available on the PS4, which was big to me. Every year I load up, like I look up batter songs and I download them and I import them into the PlayStation. And then, you have the capability of editing each player to their music
Okay.
and stadium sounds, like the sounds of the stadium and stuff like that.
Right.
So all that audio, atmospheric audio sounds, was taken away on the PlayStation 5,
Wow.
but it exists on the PlayStation 4.
Okay. So the
So now
PlayStation
I'm caught
4
between,
version it still has it intact.
right, which is
Wow.
tempting me to. I actually thought about going, you know what?
I'm just
I I could play it on the PlayStation 4,
wow. Wow, wow, wow.
which you know, I don't know. You think of whatever you want on that. The just the thought of me being able to go back to the PlayStation 4 to
That's
play this
crazy.
game should say a lot. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, I just want to get to the chat as I'm seeing it scroll up. James says, "What's up, Jay?" Giving you a exclusive "What's up, Jay?" from James, and he mentions in the chat, "Outriders is good, but the Division 2 is better." James, I'm with you. I've been playing Outriders. It hasn't gripped me. I told Jay the other day, it's just, I've been playing it with multiple people, with Jay included. And yeah, I know Endgame is everything, but it hasn't gripped me. So I'm just going to maybe play a little bit more. Travis, aka Pastor Gaines, is in the house. Hey yo, he says he is
Yeah.
here. He says, "What's up, Sleek?" And so everybody here is just getting some love. We appreciate you guys here. We're just chilling, a bunch of gray heads and younger heads, just talking about gaming and just sharing. What are you guys playing? If you're listening to us right now, put in the comments what has your attention. You'll see that on the video if you're watching. The gameplay is mine, so please forgive me as I was just booting up fresh MLB 21 on Game Pass, and I went through the menus, just looking at what they had and everything before actually jumping into a game. So that's what you're seeing right now. Right now, you're seeing like the pitching, the different forms of pitching, and we'll talk more about that. But let's get to a topic or just something for panel discussion, just to kind of warm up the engine here. But I know Henyo posed this and I found it interesting. What peripherals would you like to see on gaming consoles maybe make a comeback? I have an arcade machine and I like this trackball to play, games like Centipede. It's just it's a whole different
Hmm.
experience when you play the way that it was made to play as opposed to with a joystick. But yeah, the trackball is a thing for me on the arcade that I'm enjoying. What about you guys? Anybody on the panel, just jump in. What about you guys? What
Yeah,
would you like to
my
see come
my
back,
thing
or what
was
do
the
you like?
laser gun.
The
My
guns,
thing
yeah,
is the laser
the
gun.
light
Whatever
guns, right?
happened to the laser gun?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was the
yeah, yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Was
yep.
there
Hold on,
something wrong with the laser gun?
hold on to clarify on that. Do you have a Switch in you?
No.
Maybe you should get
Well,
one because
my
you.
daughters do, but I don't. I don't
Hold
consider
on.
it mine.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned the light gun. House of the Dead remake just got announced on Switch, and they're going to do a light gun for it. So there you go.
There
Oh,
you
they're doing
go.
a
There
light
you
gun for
go.
it? Are you serious?
Yup.
Nice.
Okay,
See?
so do you know the details? Like, and now I'm
That
excited. That's why I have to, like, is it gonna come with a bar or something, or is it just gonna
Nah,
register on the
see,
screen?
they haven't really gotten into any details about it, but it's kind of one of
Wah,
those. I
wah,
did see.
wah.
Yeah, I did see the trailer for House of the Dead remake for Switch.
I did.
Looks fantastic.
I did as well.
But as far as the light gun, it's more likely in development. So,
Mm.
more news on that later.
Okay, I mean, because I saw, and you guys know what we're talking about, right? House of the Dead. You guys have played it or seen it at one
Yep.
point or another,
Yep.
right? It
That's
was,
an
Absolutely.
arcade. That's an arcade staple, man. If you don't
yeah.
know House of the Dead, there's
Hey,
something wrong with you.
I'm just putting out there just in case, but I remember playing it, and yeah, the light gun, that was really cool, and I saw the announcement for Nintendo for that game, but I said, ain't no way I'm playing this with a controller or whatever these little paddles are on the side of the machine. I'm not playing with that. Like if it don't come with a legit light gun, I'm not playing it. I could care less if it comes out. So, that's my take. That's my 2 cents.
They'll work it out.
Yeah.
Well, what you got for me, Sleep?
We'll see.
I remember some games involving the light gun, but I probably have played it. I'm just not remembering House of the Dead. I'm remembering like Time Crisis.
I can rattle off some if you want, brother. I got a catalog. So you were right. There is Time Crisis. There's Virtual Cop, and that's
yep, I've played
back in it. I'm come on now, brother. There's Aliens, Terminator, the Aerosmith game.
Yep.
All these games are light rail. Aliens, if I hadn't said that yet.
Yeah, you did. We know how you feel about Aliens.
Hey, look.
Time
it was time. Oh, Sleek said Time Crisis.
With Jurassic Park, there was one.
Oh yeah,
it was
like
was
Jurassic Park.
Yep.
There was a later one, but
and there were 3 House of the Deads, by the way.
What about Operation Wolf?
Yeah.
Oh man, you taking it back to
that's first gen. That's like
91.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Find that cabinet.
Now did Operation Wolf, because I remember some of these games, but I don't remember which were the ones that distinctively had the feedback when you shot it, the whole thing rumbled, or you had to like point it off screen so that you could reload, and it would give you that feedback. I think
Terminator was one of the first ones to rumble.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see. Time Crisis, you stepped on the pedal, you got behind cover.
Yep.
Virtual Cop, you shot off screen to reload. Everything else, you just held down the trigger. Operation Wolf did have the rumble feature. You just pulled the trigger and it felt like you're going to shake the machine to death.
Yeah.
Terminator had it. Aliens had it. And House of the Dead, you have to shoot off the screen and aim as well.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we're just, and here we're talking about peripherals, but everybody got stuck on the gun. And it's something that even now, even with my arcade build, I'm looking at that like right now. I'm not going to get it anytime soon because it is rather expensive tech. But yeah, I can't access the games. I'll be playing it with a joystick, but I won't. Because I got those games that I can play with the light gun. So, stand by. In the future, we'll get to it. James says that he is making his way back home from Palm Bay, Florida. James, where's home? If you're all the way here in Palm Bay, Florida.
If I told you who James was, you would understand. I know who he is now.
Who's James?
That's the Grim Reaper. That's
Grim.
Yeah, that's Grim, man.
Oh, okay. What's he using his name for?
Well, you don't know him. You don't know him by that name.
No, I don't know him by James. I know him by Bobby. Yeah. Bobby.
No, don't put him out there like that. I was trying to save him. I was trying to save him. No.
Well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh well, too bad. You let the cat out the bag. It's your fault.
How you gonna blame? I didn't say his name.
And once you said you don't know him by James, I'm like, oh, okay, I understand.
Hey, I gave you the man's Xbox name, but you still dropped him anyway out there.
Well, hey, you know what? You should have been here early and would have talked to me, pre-show, and then we wouldn't be having this conversation. It's still your fault.
See?
Anyways, James says Space Invaders. We'll keep using James like we don't know his name for real or whatnot. Okay, the Space Invaders. Yeah, Space Invaders is cool. I mean, the only thing I haven't used on my arcade cabinet at this point is the spinner. And that's the only thing I haven't used. But as far as
spinner for like Breakout?
Yeah, the spinner for Breakout. Yep.
I remember the spinner from Tempest and Tron.
Yeah, no, I haven't used it. No, I haven't gotten in. I haven't got there yet.
I mean, that's what I remember it from.
Oh man, dude, I'm sorry. He says my cover is blown. It's Jay's fault. It's Jay's fault. When you talk to him, just let him know for even putting hints out there and whatnot. He should have just
Oh,
left it alone.
that
They're
that
coming for
that
him now. You got the
yeah.
chopper like over his house. They're gonna
Wow,
kick
don't
his
do
door in and drag him away. Hey, all I'm gonna say is if there's a reward, it was me who turned you in. So, but if not, if it's something else, women trouble, then it was Jay. So,
What? Excuse me?
anyways, let's move on. Let's move on. I want to get
No, you're not gonna.
I want to get to the Sleeky Says segment here, and Sleek, we're gonna let you run with this one, and I know Jay is going to probably get into a banter with you here and go back and forth. But platform focus earlier in the week on the Discord channel, and if you guys haven't haven't checked us out yet over on Discord, the DFG community, come check us out there. But y'all guys were having like a conversation. I think Henyo even chimed in and I just put it out here. Platform focus. We were talking about, or you guys were talking about, what's the game? The Day Before that I don't think has launched
Yes.
yet. And the makers of the game, the producers of the game, talking about focusing on a platform before putting it out on console. Am I correct on that? And so you guys had a conversation as to that. So talk to us about that platform focus. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What is it? Should we care?
And that was always my point with MLB the Show. The team was always so focused on making sure that the show was always polished for the PlayStation 5. There was no concern about having to worry about, platforming it for the Xbox. So their focus was solely on just, increasing the level of the product, and not having to worry about, multiple systems. You have a team that's just focused on that one. You don't have to worry about, different components and other stuff. So that's always been my take, that you just have a team focused on that particular console.
Yeah, it's not. So to some folks, they have like when you have a game specifically designed for one platform, some people are like, oh well, it should be easy. Like the game's already made, bring it over to this now. It's not. It's not that simple. It's creating a port. It involves actually like almost reworking. I'm not gonna say like all of the game, but you're gonna have to like rework certain things to work with that specific platform's innards, I guess you could say, right? You can't just bring a game that was designed for one specific platform to another without changing some code and everything else. They don't
Go ahead,
act the
Sleek.
same. They don't act the same innard wise.
All right, to give an example of what Sleek's saying, everybody here knows what the Dreamcast is, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Still got mine.
Did anybody play a game on Dreamcast called Grandia 2?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll take that as a no, Henyo, because you had to grumble on that.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell. Maybe
Okay.
maybe we'll also see the cover of it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so Grandia 2 was an RPG that came out on Dreamcast, right? So when Sleek talks about, when there's one for one platform to another one, well, Grandia 2 got ported from Dreamcast to PlayStation 2. And the port came out terrible. The music was bad, the colors didn't come out right because it was a direct port. And since the architecture for the Dreamcast was different from the architecture from the PlayStation 2, and the game wasn't developed for the PlayStation 2, the game came out like crap, even though it's still a rarity to have it. It's just a fair example of what Sleek is talking about. And you can go look that up for yourselves online. The information is there. Go do the research.
So if we're talking about and you guys and maybe I'll throw this at Henyo or Sleek, you guys being more in the realm of PC, if a game like The Day Before PC, it's being developed, it's being focused there, shouldn't it be easier if you're developing it first on PC to port it over to a console, which the console most of the time is inferior? Like, do you guys have any say to that or any inside knowledge that you can share with us? Because
You,
that's just my thought.
I, honestly, like the Xbox Series X and the PS5 are, I mean, we all have one of them, right? And you can just see the difference in speed and how everything else is going about. They have some computer components. Actually, it has a majority of computer components, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's you could design a PC. Um, a PC is more expandable, I guess you could say. Like a PC is always going to be better in the sense of custom,
Yeah.
how customizable it is,
Right.
as to where these really are. If you think about it, just like a cell phone, it's a computer. It's in your pocket. It's just not as expandable. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes any sense of where I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Uh, but with the Series X, I mean, the day before, at first it was just going to be PC, but then they were like, you know what? We're gonna make a create a port for PC, Xbox, and I'm not sure about PS5, but like I said, they're almost equivalent to a computer, just with not as much customization.
Right.
My
So
thing,
you can take it away,
Go
Hanya.
ahead, Anya. Go ahead.
yeah, my thing is, is this is a fairly new development house, correct?
Mm.
This is not a big, a big house like EA
Yeah,
or
no,
Ubisoft
yeah,
or,
No,
I think they've put out
and
some other they're pretty obscured.
well,
yeah.
well
So
just
with that in mind, you kind of you have to learn the system, the software development kit, that's the SDK for
well,
that system, right? And there's a transition there from what you're used to on the PC, what you're used to from the PlayStation, and what you're used to for the Xbox. Now the question becomes, does that team have the capability and the team to work with those development kits, right? And to produce the same game, to port the game over from the PC. And this is why, again, you go back, does the team have enough power? Are they just solely focused on, instead of learning a new development kit, are they just focusing on the PC?
So,
so
so
I,
are
I
we to understand that that's when we hear, let's say, someone representative, not to mention just Phil Spencer, but representative speaking from Xbox or from PlayStation, for that matter, when they speak about where we've developed our console, our system, so that developers have more accessibility, or it's easier to develop. Is that what I'm like picking up? Is that's a good thing that leads to more console platform focus, or not? Like, I mean, what's the purpose of building a machine that is more accessible, easier to quote unquote develop for, and yet we still have platform exclusives and focuses on just singular platforms?
well, you just said like the point of a good point where th- I personally, after what I've done for reading and research, and I could be completely wrong, but Microsoft goes above and beyond to try to make the SDK the most accessible, because like you said, no matter what, typically at some when you're designing or making a game, at any point or even at one point, you're using a PC and or a Mac at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're always gonna have that to be involved in what you're creating. So the more robust that uh, the systems can handle as far as SDKs go,
Mm-hmm.
and more the inaccessibility, that's like the big thing. And something Hania said about the size of the team, right?
Right.
I was gonna say uh, to piggyback that, if you have an iPhone, for an example, and right now I mean, when they upgrade, they're gonna be the phone will only go so far for the OS, right? Once you hit a certain point, the apps start to not be
Yeah,
accessible on older generation.
not compatible at all, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
right. And you pretty much have to get uh, the newer and the latest model. Now, here's why I say that bring that in with gaming is because the same thing. If you have a small team, like Hanyo said, you're gonna focus on, depending on the size of the team, you can't focus on every single platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's either gonna be, if you're a small team and you're working specifically to make the most polished game you can send out and the most, you know, in a game that catches the attention of people being able to play, you can't you can't take any of what you have to focus on older platforms, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing: you have a big company like EA. Of course, they can focus on creating an Xbox version, PS4 version, PS5, and Xbox One. But you have a small studio like this, and then a small development team. You, you gotta pick your focus at first. Then when things start to happen, you can go from there and start to be like, all right, we're starting to get a little bigger, or we're doing pretty good. We got to start to hit the older generation consoles because you also got to think of it as a what what's out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the majority of things out there? You're gonna start seeing the percentages of, and it's the same thing for anything in tech. And Hanyo, you can uh, probably explain it better, but you're gonna see, um, I'm trying to go with this. You're gonna see like a bigger percentage having newer generation consoles over the older ones.
Mm.
Like it becomes a number game.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be worth developing for every platform, or is it only going to be worth focusing on the newer gen? You got to pick and
And
choose like your battles at that point.
right. And you also got to look at, is the product going to be successful?
Yeah.
So you're not just going to go splash it across everything, right? You're just going to say, you know what, we're going to make it in this platform. If it does well, then we turn our focus on other platforms because at this point we know it's going to be a moneymaker. We know the other platforms are going to want it, right? If you just come out with a game and it's almost like the opposite effect of Cyberpunk. You know what I'm saying? Cyberpunk was available on every damn system.
Right. Still is, right?
and people bought it, and what everybody ended up regretting buying it because
Mm.
all right, it sucked on the console, it was playable on the PC, and it was just damn unplayable on I think it was the PlayStation 4 or something like that,
Yeah,
some
and the base
some
S
system,
box as well. It was just like trash. Like
right?
it was
So
ridiculous.
right, so there you're on the opposite spectrum of what these smaller in-house, developers are trying to do. They're not trying to spread themselves thin.
Mm.
You're taking away from the team, plain and simple.
Mm.
You got it. Your focus is on one thing only. Develop that product on a platform. Their console of choice just so happens to be a PC.
Mm.
It could have been PlayStation 4. It could have been a Xbox exclusive. Again, they chose the PC to not that it can't go anywhere else. I mean, look at Death Stranding. Death Stranding was a Sony exclusive, to the PlayStation.
Right.
But you know what? It exists on the PC.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what helped it? The damn sales of it.
Right.
It was a solid game. It was a beautiful game, and it
Yeah.
had you know a name to that to that game. So you kind of pick your you kind of look at the battlefield, and then you say, okay, you know what, we could afford to win this portion of this battlefield. All
Mm-hmm.
right, we're not gonna go all out and try to take it all over.
Right. 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 Right.
That's my line of thinking if I was a developer.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't. I don't know what was going on in that house. I'm just saying this is how I would play my hand.
What about
Yeah.
you,
So
Jay? Do you want to chime in on this?
Well, y'all in the PC realm, so I'm sitting in my Charlie Brown chair. And all I'm hearing is wah 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 wah. So y'all
The
handle
wah,
this
wah,
until we
wah.
get to the.
All right. I mean, I want to I want to chime in and I want to say, so, so let me just throw this at you guys. So are exclusives a dying species? Because we're talking about the development kits, the accessibility, the focus on one platform depending on the team that you are. You don't want to spread yourself thin, et cetera, et cetera. So all these factors and everything. But looking at, and this is just me, my perspective. If you guys don't agree with me, put it in the comments, leave it there. I'll read it. I'll get to you. We can have a civil debate about it. But I get the impression so far this console generation, Xbox is definitively moving towards getting their games and allowing you to play them anywhere, on anything, however you want, whenever you want. Game Pass is the number one thing that they're putting out there that's driving it. Whereas the other consoles, I'm not gonna name them, but the other consoles are not, and they're still kind of like encased, or probably still in that mindset of exclusivity. We're gonna develop games for our platform, and if you want to play this game, you're gonna have to come here. But is that a mistake? Are exclusive games a dying
I don't think it's a
species? Go ahead. Go for it.
I,
Go
I
for
don't
it.
think it's a I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's just Microsoft has the infrastructure for it. So they have Azure, which is their cloud solution. So, you know, for the exception of the bandwidth, they're, in total control of everything that they push out for gaming. They could handle that load. Sony doesn't have that infrastructure. I don't think Nintendo has that infrastructure. There's not too many of these companies that could, do cloud computing right now,
Mm-hmm.
to provide that service to distribute games and host games, mobilely, or bring it at home and play it, locally. So, I think Microsoft's position is just put two and two together, and and making the best out of it, and they're just reaping the benefits right now.
So you're saying it's a positional thing, and if these other platforms had the opportunity, they would be going down the same path, maybe the same
Why
messaging
wouldn't
or
they?
similar message. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
why wouldn't they?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I agree with you. I'm 100% with you. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying, is
yeah,
that what I'm hearing? And
yeah.
for you guys who are on the panel and you guys who are listening, do you think that's so, or do you think that you have a company, Nintendo or PlayStation or whoever, that are saying, hey, you know what, we're on top of our game, people are purchasing, repurchasing, repurchasing the same games that we put out 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago. This is working for us, we're profitable,
Yeah.
why change it?
I have to I had to stop myself and say, do I have this game already?
Yeah.
Because I'm literally like, I want to get that game. Wait a minute,
Yep.
I own it on this platform.
Right.
um,
So,
I'm to that notion. I'm gonna say this: exclusives are going to be exclusives regardless of the fact. Sony and Nintendo still prove that exclusives work, and until when we've already seen a PlayStation logo pop up on an Xbox, which brought a tear to my eye, because it's one of those, as an old man looking at the screen, seeing a Sony logo on an Xbox. That's kind of like, man, look at the time. But at the same time, the games that Sony has, Spider-Man, God of War, and so on and so forth, and Nintendo with their exclusives that sell millions, and Sony with their, until those games really start branching out, you see them even though MLB the Show is just the foundation that proves that, hey, it wasn't Sony's choice
Mm.
to make that happen. It was baseball, because baseball was like,
yep,
hey, so
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
because baseball's like we want that money, and Sony's like, but we got you though.
Mm-hmm.
And that we know, and MLB was like, we need that money from everybody.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen if MLB the Show absolutely dominates well on Xbox and on PlayStation 5? EA is going to be screwed with Madden. And I'm telling you guys now, and I'm predicting the future. It's only a matter of time. MLB the Show. I mean, you got other games. I doubt we'll see Mario on Xbox unless it's some kind of like, hey,
I don't think
Luigi's
that'll ever
Mansion.
happen.
No, I don't think
Exactly.
that'll happen. I don't think that'll
We're
happen.
That's
not
too
gonna
exclusive.
exactly. We're not gonna
The
see
people
unless it's
will revolt. The
exactly.
masses will revolt. Starvation will hit the land.
You know what? I
The
think
earth will be torn apart.
Yeah.
You going scorched earth on that one, ain't you,
Yeah,
brother?
no. I think
I don't believe
guys.
for a second.
No, I think when we talk about exclusivity, we have to distinguish. We shouldn't have to, but let's distinguish. Exclusivity, and then we're talking about what a brand is, what makes Xbox and how Xbox is identified. Master Chief, Gears of War, Forza. Those are games that are pillars. On Nintendo, it's Mario Kart. You understand? It's Super Mario World. It's whatever Mario has to do, that's what it is. And PlayStation, same thing. God of War, and all these other games are in there. So those are mascots that identify the brand. And I know never do I see that. But we're talking about exclusivity. Like, yeah, we mentioned like what we're watching here on the screen, MLB the Show. Who would have thought that MLB, unless, like what Jay said, MLB, the real MLB, stepped up and said, hey, we want our brand. And this game, which is an excellent game created by an excellent first party producer over at Sony, San Diego Studios, they've been at this for decades already.
So give them their props, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
they are.
I mean, MLB.
give
We're
it
gonna
to
talk. You know what? Let's transition right into that. MLB the Show. Impressions. I want to go around the panel here. If you have we all played it? Have we all at least
No.
put our hands on it? Jay, you haven't played it?
No.
How dare you?
I've got my hands on it.
How dare you, bro?
Wait. Okay.
I told you
Okay, hold
early
on.
in the week. How dare
Hold
you?
up.
This is
I'm
the
about to
Bust
take-
Jay's Chop
okay.
segment. Let's go. Let's hear this excuse.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I was gonna say that if you're gonna
He's
make
stuttering.
it rain, let's make it rain. So Henyo, let's start with you. Go ahead and bring the beat. What you got?
No, I'm gonna give my impressions, and we're gonna let
No, you
Henyo,
getting
because
I want to
Henyo
hear
is the
you.
in-depth Mr.
guys,
Baseball. Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna cede me going first, and Jay, you're not gonna dictate, okay? And we're gonna put Sleek to actually give his impressions, guys, on MLB. Tell us the platform you're playing it on. What was your initial impression? Take it away, Sleek.
You want me to go first? Or you
Yeah,
want
go
Henyo to
ahead,
go?
Sleek. No, because
right.
Henyo is Mr. Baseball, so
All
yeah.
right. So I gave it a whirl on the Xbox, being on Game Pass. The last time I played the show was probably 2018.
Okay, that's not too far off.
Yeah, maybe, or 2017, one of the two. Because having an Xbox, I mean, I was always, it was the 2K version, which, I mean, I can get into that. I kind of like certain things better about that than the show, but I digress. So I played it today for the first time. I went 9 innings in an exhibition with my brother-in-law, and it took us.
What was the score?
each-
I need to know the score because that tells a lot about. The score
So
tells me a lot about how easy it was for you to play.
yeah, so basically,
I'm in trouble.
I left it on veteran. I left it on whatever controls,
Okay.
whatever difficulty settings,
Yeah.
just for us to get the vibe. It took us each probably about maybe about the fourth inning to start to kind of really start to play. or make
Okay.
it feel like a game. It was 4-3. I lost.
Mm.
He was the Padres. I was the Cubs. If that
Okay.
makes any difference for you, but yeah, it was, and like I've always had trouble with the show in regards to certain things. Um, but it's it's hard to explain. It's not difficult, but there's a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
the pitching can be difficult, hitting for sure. But like I said, once we started to get into like a groove, it started to feel like a game, right? Like
Yeah.
we're starting to get normal outs. Not, I think I ended the game with like 14 strikeouts with one pitcher, and like it was,
That's about right.
it was, it was fun though. It's fun. That's not something I would play normally online with people I don't know. Mostly
Yeah.
locally, couch co-op, and if I were to play it on my own, I do the fantasy, right? Because I like, doing the full draft, seeing how far I can go, and
Yeah.
I'm all about that. But yeah, so I was also doing research before this and looking at what people were for reviews and what people were giving it for a rating, and I think the general consensus was probably around like a 7.5 or an 8 if you average it all out. At
Yeah.
least what I was using. So all in all, at the end, it I I enjoy it. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Did it look and feel like a 7.5 game to
um it depends on where you're. I feel like if you were to separate in specific things, right? So like if you were separated by categories, maybe like visually, learning curve, uh, you know, and everything else, like it felt like a baseball game. Like visually, as far as jumping and diving and the slide, like that, to me it looked very realistic in my opinion. I would give it an 8 in that, uh visually. um
Yeah.
I don't know if you feel the same way or feel like it should be more, but I definitely 8 visually.
Mm. Okay, cool. Cool. Henry, you got
Good
anything
good
else that you need
review.
to ask?
No. That was it.
Okay.
The gameplay,
Oh, yeah,
visual impressions, and was the reviews spot on, right? What you're seeing, are you agreeing with the masses?
I yeah, I am. I'm agree with them. I say a solid 8. Again, it's the other thing I would take into consideration too is like, obviously you're gonna need someone who enjoys playing uh baseball games and who knows baseball. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
gonna get like a different people who review. Like you're gonna get those who
Yeah.
love baseball games but don't like baseball in general. Um, but I'll say I'd agree with an 8.
Cool. That's fair. I'm gonna chime in, and I will say that I haven't played MLB the Show. I can't even remember what was the last MLB the Show that I played, to be honest. I know I did play it on the PlayStation. That was the only way that you can play MLB. But when I turned it on, my very first impression, and Jay already said it, seeing that PlayStation logo, PlayStation Studios, boot up on my Xbox. I was playing on Xbox. I felt right. I felt like this is right. Like this is cool. The game is here. We can play it here. But PlayStation San Diego Studios is still getting the props that they deserve. It's an awesome game. Um, right from jump, I was like, wow, this game is beautiful. The look of it, the crowd, like I actually found myself when I was pitching looking at the people in the back, those the audience, those who are seated, and I don't think there was any duplicates. Like
Yeah.
people were doing different things. It felt genuine in that sense. I didn't see like the same, dude with the same red shirt doing the same thing, and it's really like four different models. They're just spread out. It felt right. Um, I went through the menus and I thought I was gonna be overwhelmed, Henyo, to be honest, because I saw so much,
Yep.
but it was easier than I expected to navigate, and it was like front and center so that you knew where to go if you wanted to do an exhibition, if you wanted to do um just a traditional game. I think it has that like a classic mode. But when you initially boot it up, you do have to like go through certain settings because it's gonna ask you for certain information. And I took my time doing that, like selecting the type of pitching I wanted to do, hitting, fielding, base running, and then saving those options. And then it allowed me to go into the game, which I thought was cool. Uh, you know, um, and I enjoyed my first experience. I that This is the footage. As you can see here, the LA Dodgers are ahead two to my one, Toronto Blue Jays. I didn't want to pick the Mets or the Yankees coming from New York, so I picked actually the team that I rooted for quite some time back in the days, Toronto. Um, and I had a great time. I got some fatigue playing it. You'll see the score is gonna like start running up, and I made some stupid mental mistakes, and you pay for your mistakes in this game.
Absolutely.
You
Yep.
pay. You pay big
Yep.
time. And so I lost focus, and I kind of was like, let me just throw this pitch or
Nope.
not pay attention. Bro, the computer started just lighting me up, and I was just like, wow. I kept seeing in the bottom right corner that it was adjusting the difficulty because
Yeah.
I played it, and I found that interesting, and maybe you can enlighten me on that, Henyo. But I found it interesting that it did that, and I said, why are you lowering the difficulty? Is it because you don't want me to get spanked so bad that I never come back and play this game again? Like, let me experience this. But overall, I think I agree with the reviews. Um, I've just been out of touch from baseball for so long that I don't even know who's on what team. Like, I don't know who's the
Yeah.
top team. Nothing, nothing. But the game, I can see myself playing this game, and just doing it on a beginner's type level, just so that I
Yeah.
can get the simulation but have fun at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with the 8 for great that IGN gave it. And so that's my spiel on that.
And a lot what you experienced was called it's called the onboarding
Mm.
experience.
Mhm.
So when you light up the game, it's gonna walk you through all these things. They've done it in the past. Obviously this year they did a little bit more focus because of the Xbox users.
Mhm.
So they wanted to make sure that you understood the whole, you know, card trading, the
Mm.
whole not trading, but these cards that you're gonna get and how to soup them up and how to collect them and just the variety of
Yeah.
gameplay that you're gonna experience.
Mhm.
I mean, there's so many levels of gameplay in this that you don't have to just play the baseball game. You don't have to play against, online players. You could literally, play something else on your own, in different modes, in different fashions, different times. You don't have to play a 9 inning game. You can play a 3 inning game.
Mm.
So that was that experience you're feeling or seeing, when you started the game. The whole dynamic thing has been something that is they've been working on that for like the last 3 or 4 years, and that's just so you're right. You're not getting spanked by the computer. It also doesn't. It kind of lightens up the frustration of losing all the time.
Mhm.
So what it does, it kind of keeps an eye on how well you're batting, how well you're pitching, and it'll adjust it differently. So if you're really good at pitching, it's gonna the difficulty level is gonna continue rising But if you stuck at hitting, it's gonna lower that setting. So you could be really pitching but suck at hitting, and those two dynamics will change separately.
Mm.
So in that respect, that's pretty cool. Um, as I said, they took away a big feature that I really enjoyed. And one of them was, importing the music. I was big on that. That was something I've done for years, and it's got to the point that I'm contemplating playing it on the PlayStation 4 just to have that feature.
Mm.
Um, does it look better than the PlayStation 4? Yes, it does look better than the PlayStation 4. There's a lot of details I'm noticing. This year they put birds in the sky.
Mm.
Okay,
Wow, I didn't
so
even
not
notice
only do
that.
you so yeah, so not only do you see the birds in the sky, but when I actually hit it to the outfield, I saw the shadows of the birds.
Mm. Wow,
So
that's
that was
crazy.
just a little nod to, like, how much. And here I just did a dive. Oh wow, that was a nice play. I'm playing the game while we're talking,
Yeah, yeah, I can hear the
and
controller.
so um, little things like that are the quality of the game. You see those little things. The graphically, I mean, they're on point so far. There are some players in which their face texture isn't as refined as big name players.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, Aaron Judge's face, you'll be able to see pimples, but a minor leaguer, his face will look a little bit more smoothed out and
Right.
not so much detail
More
because
generic. Yeah.
it's using a generic skin texture
Right.
versus you know Bryce Harper, uh, your star player. So
Right.
graphically it looks good. The gameplay has been on point. They tightened up a lot. So from what I'm experiencing is good. The network connectivity has been an issue for me, but they do that every year at the beginning of the year. So, it's just the load balancing that they're going through right now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in which they're, the amount of players that are logging in to play, so they're doing a lot of load balancing. And this was something that they were hoping to address during the tech test. So, and I mean, I'm playing two versions right now. I'm playing uh March to what is it called? March to October,
Mm-hmm.
which you're not playing a full game. You're gonna play you're gonna play from April to October,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not gonna play every game and you're not gonna play every inning. And it's just like a quick way. And when you're done with that, you'll get special cards from the team that you accomplished with, right? So if it's a really good team, your rewards are less because they're winners, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those teams are expected to win. But if you do it with a lesser team, the rewards are greater
Mm.
because you did it with a team that really shouldn't be going to the World Series.
Wow.
So in that respect, that's that gameplay. And I'm also playing what am I playing? I'm playing a little bit of Conquest, which is basically you're taking over territory. It's a 3 inning game, in and out. And that's my gameplay style because I can't sit here for too long, or I can't play for 3 hours. My wife will argue that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're in and out. You're only
Yeah.
playing a 3 inning game.
It's
So
fatiguing. It's like
it is.
I haven't watched baseball for forever, and I got none against baseball, but I played this 9 inning game, and even pressing the buttons and trying to get to your pitch, or guess the pitch if you're hitting and whatnot. It took a chunk of time, man, and I was just like,
It did.
I'm tired, and I was
They got a
fresh in the
solution for
morning.
that.
Mm-hmm.
They got a solution for that. It's called they have what's known as quick pitch.
Okay.
And basically what you start off, it's an option in the at the beginning of the game.
Okay.
You have the option to start the each batter already in an
Yes,
advanced
I saw
account.
that. I saw that in an advanced
So
count. Yep. Yep.
yep, so that you'll start off 3-0,
Right.
1-2,
Right.
1-1,
It's
and that just
random.
kind of speeds up the right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that respect, you
Yeah.
kind of speeding up the game. It'll
Yeah.
obviously be shorter than a full game.
Yeah. And on the screen here, if you
I
watch our video, this is where I started making all these like mental errors. I'm like diving all over the place when I didn't need to dive, and I was just exhausted. Really, at this point, I was about I don't know, maybe 40 minutes into the game. I can't even tell what inning I was in,
What
but
inning is that?
I don't know. I was exhausted. No, this is
It
the
is.
what? The bottom of the fifth? The top of the
Oh,
fifth. It was the top of the fifth.
wow.
And
Yeah,
and
that is
and I
long.
just let the game get away from me. I was like, "Oh man, that's it. I'm not." At that point it was game over for me. But
You
yeah,
should have tried
it's
retro mode. You should have started with retro
yes,
mode.
I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna play retro mode, but I wanted to get and this guys, if you're listening to this, you know, give yourself the opportunity to go through the menus, like what Henyo said, the loading,
Yeah.
um, and experiment with the different because I want to go back and change like the pitching style, the hitting style. I want to experience all of those things at least once. Um, and then do the retro mode and whatnot. But you play MLB the Show, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys here want to chime in on this. I play MLB the Show for the sim experience. This is baseball. This is MLB baseball. This is not NES baseball. This is not even 2K baseball, which was great in the day. But MLB stands head and shoulders, in my opinion, over any baseball game, even like hardball. Remember playing hardball? Um,
Yeah.
I love
Loved
MLB.
hardball.
I want this game to succeed, and for San Diego Studios to grow exponentially. Like if they have a team of like 500, I want them to be 1,000 because I can't wait to see what the next iteration of this game is going to be and if they can kick it to another level because there's still a lot of room for improvement. And
And
I
there
can
will.
see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Having been away from MLB the Show, but yeah, I don't want to camp on MLB, guys. I wanted us to have kind of like a first impressions discussion on MLB, and I want to get Jay involved, and Sleek as well. Have you guys heard? And I'm gonna transition here, guys, and thank you again for just hanging out, sticking with us. Subscribe. I got to do a better job at doing that during the podcast, but it would help us out if you give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. Um, I know that this type of platform is not for everyone. I can't please the masses. We speak about what, we're interested in. We speak about gaming. We try to bring a different perspective, not get caught up in all of that drama, hence drama-free gaming. We just try to bring some personal insight and sometimes some expertise, and just share our hobby and our love. And MLB, you can hear it in Henyo's voice. He loves MLB, and I really appreciate this game as well. But hit that subscribe button, help us out. Drama Free Gaming here on YouTube.com, and again, DFG Podcast on Anchor.fm, and anywhere and almost everywhere on any other platform that you listen to your podcast on. Let me transition here and just
Wait, can I
yeah, go ahead. You wanted
on
to chime in and
on
say something? Go for it, man.
on the transition before we really get to more one more thing? I want to say this. We all defend CD Projekt Red in our own rights on this panel, correct?
Yeah, to a certain extent, yep.
Yeah, to a certain extent, even though Cyberpunk had a slowdown, had its problems, most
Yeah.
of us here, if not all of us, still rooting for Cyberpunk, correct?
Yeah, I still want that game to succeed. Most definitely.
Well,
They have one of the best games out anyway, The Witcher. So
Yeah,
so
of course.
so Cyberpunk 20 as of right now, GameSpot article, Cyberpunk 2077 has sold 13.7 million copies in 21 days, and only 30,000 people got refunds. So anybody who's complaining about CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, you need to shut up because their sales speak harder than your words do.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think a lot of that was to the expectations of the game, and once
And
you own it, you kind of own it. But
yeah,
there's people playing it. I plan to
yeah,
play it. I
and not to mention, to top that all off, and this caught me by surprise, is CD Projekt Red's latest RPG had one of the most commercially successful releases in history. So y'all need to leave CD Projekt Red alone because their work far exceeds your opinions and what you think. Because I'm with these cats. So goal for CD Projekt Red. I'm rooting for them cats, man. Cyberpunk, I might have to jump on the bandwagon and pick it up just to have it now.
Yeah, it's like
I want.
it's like what Sleek just said here, and he interjected here a moment. You know, CD Projekt Red is still known for The Witcher 3, which still is getting reviews as probably being maybe one of the best
Actually,
RPG games out here, you
and
know, in the console generation. And yeah.
and speaking of Witcher 3, The Witcher 3 just now passes 30 million copies sold.
Yeah, I mean, I root for the developers. If anybody else did some shady stuff and whatever, I root for those people who are going to work every day, day in and day out, sacrificing sometimes, most of the time, their time, putting in the extra hours and not, they could be with their families, they could be doing other things, but they're here developing and being passionate about projects, and we're quick to stomp on that. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Jay. I'm gonna transition here, guys, and move to some news, not news, but Microsoft was seen as purchasing, and I don't know if you guys have heard this, but supposedly purchasing Konami licenses for the purpose of diversifying even more on Game Pass. What do you guys think about that? I mean, purchasing licenses from Konami again to inject into Game Pass.
Depends on the game. Because Konami.
What would make you happy?
Oh well, they gave me Contra. They definitely gave me Castlevania. But Konami has some great lineups, especially if you know retro. I think they had a part in Ninja Turtles, which there is a Ninja Turtles, new Ninja Turtles coming.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta think about the Konami library here. I mean, they got the Run and Gun series for basketball.
Yeah.
If you like anything, Konami's an old school company, right? And they got Yu-Gi-Oh, which I think everybody has a stake in Yu-Gi-Oh, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then Konami also has the soccer game, Metal Gear. What else we got here? Bomberman.
So how do you think? How do you think with all these games? I mean, because you said it depends on the game, but here you are listing over 10 to 12. If I'm keeping count with you, I mean, it sounds like they got a solid library. Do you think it'll make Game Pass even more attractive? Detract from it?
I'll say this, and I think Sleek would probably faint in his seat and die for the rest of his life. Believe it or not, Konami, and if Xbox pulls the cards right, if they drop a Suikoden collection, it's over.
The only thing I think of when they were talking about licenses was if they bring Suikoden to Xbox, I mean, I'd pass out.
I told you,
he'll pass out.
Yeah,
Sleep. You and his Sleep from like 8 years. That dude to be dead, looking like a hermit, old beard. Sleep. What Sleep with?
I mean, I could essentially just play those games now. I mean, I have the physical copies and I have everything ready to go. To play it on my number one go-to platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just like right now, just playing at any moment. It's probably the best game, and I would make Hanyo play it.
He make Hanyo play if you can get him off of MLB.
Actually, I would agree with Sleek on that. I'd join Sleek in the hunt to make Hanyo play Suikoden.
Yeah.
What is the name of this thing? Suikoden?
Suikoden.
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 Spell that out for me. I gotta look this up.
Yeah, that's what I said when I first heard it. When I first heard it, I was like, Suihui?
Suikoden.
I thought I heard a K
okay.
in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I talked about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
before.
No,
because, yeah.
this is the type of gameplay that got us started way back with the NES. So oh no, with the Sega Master, I think it was.
Mhm.
That
No,
Fantasy Star look.
Suikoden.
Yeah.
So
NES.
Suikoden's PlayStation exclusive. It
I
stayed
know,
on
but
PlayStation.
It's in the
if you look at
vein.
graphically,
Graphic-wise,
the gameplay
yeah.
type, the layout of the I guess the HP points and all that stuff, the character looking, cartoony and all that stuff.
Yeah, nice 2D sprites with a 3D
Yeah, so
3D
we
backdrop.
so we can agree that again, Xbox is making moves to really diversify and stuff Game Pass. I mean, whoever is out here saying there's nothing to play on Game Pass or there's nothing to play on Xbox, you ain't got no life. Like really, like I don't know what your taste is. Maybe you should still be playing, your little black and white, handhelds from back in the days, because there is plenty to play. Or maybe you're just on the wrong ecosystem. Maybe you should be throwing horseshoes in your background in your backyard or something, but there's plenty to play out here and it just keeps getting better. Moving on. I want to share real quick with you guys the reason why I traded my PS4 Pro. Yes, my PS4 Pro. I traded with 6 games for an Xbox Series S. What do you guys think about that?
Lunacy.
Dude said lunacy.
At least he's honest. He's honest. Why you thought I was crazy?
Look. And okay, but the other side of this,
I'm gonna tell you why, but I want
there's more to this,
Uh-huh.
but no, and I know there's more to this, and this is why I find it as lunacy. So I don't want to say what I think because there is another side. So I'll let you say the other side.
No, I just wanted to catch you guys off guard and just get a natural response, like lunacy. Some people that I shared this with, they were like, "What? Are you nuts? Are you crazy? Like, what did you do?" I mean, technically, I got the system with 2 controllers, but yeah, and I already own a Series X. You guys know that. But what do you think, Jay? Or Sleek? Good trade? What?
Hold on. You really want my honest take
go
on
for
this?
it, man. What do you think?
Okay. I honestly, you a grown ass man. It's your money. You do what you want to do with it.
That's all I was waiting
I
for.
hate that
See,
line.
we can close the podcast now because he finally said something that we can relate to. Yeah, that's the truth. Sleek ain't gonna say. Sleek's gonna be like, yeah, you can do what you want. That's probably what Sleek's gonna say.
Yeah. To each their own, man.
To
I mean,
each their own. Well,
I
go ahead, Sleek.
I enjoy both. I enjoy both consoles, so I'm not one to say, "Oh, why would you ever do that? That's like the best system in the world," or that's a terrible decision. It's the worst. So, it is what it is, and
yeah,
it follows Dark Dad, man.
But I'm gonna tell you why I think it's lunacy.
Oh, go for it. I want to hear this. Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
it's lunacy because you already have a better system than the one that you purchased. So why not keep the diversity of your PlayStation? It's like,
oh man, I'm gonna tell you.
I know.
I'm gonna tell you guys why.
I wanted an Xbox S just as much, just to have it in my pocket and I could turn it on somewhere else. That was the sole reason. And unless that's what you're gonna do,
yeah, you're on it. You're exactly right. I have. Okay, there's 2 reasons really. The main reason was because I wanted to have a Series S because I have a portable setup with my Switch. And since I've had that portable setup, I access and play my Switch now more than ever because of the portable setup. And what I mean is I have a screen and a wireless controller because I cannot play on that little screen on the Switch screen. I can't do it, and I don't want to play with the Joy-Cons. I can, but I've said it here before. My hands like all cramp up, and it looks like I'm throwing gang signs. I'm not going to play with Joy-Cons. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me. But playing it on a bigger screen, I can see it. I enjoy it. I can set it up in a matter of it takes me less than a minute. I got a portable battery, and I wanted to see if I could do the same thing with an Xbox Series S, and lo and behold, I can. It's the same setup, and I can take my Xbox Series S with me anywhere. This machine is so compact. It's so little, to be honest. When I opened it, I was like, oh, it's so cute. Look at this thing. It reminded me almost of like an original NES and a Wii. You know, like a combination of those. It's so small and compact. And the first thing that I said was, I'm gonna see if I can make a portable, build with this. And it works. I got a portable battery, plug it into my screen, and it's good to go. It is wonderful. And so yeah, that was the main reason. But the trade was easy for me, guys, because I'm gonna be honest, I was not playing my PlayStation 4 Pro at all. And I've owned like 3 PlayStation Pros, and I've given 3 of them. I sold one and gave 2 of them away. So I think this would have been my 4th one, and I wasn't playing it at all. It was literally there in my setup collecting dust, and I had great games for it, but it just was not calling my attention at all. And I kept asking myself, why am I not playing it? Why am I not playing on the PlayStation? Why am I not, engaged? And I'm going to tell you, my reasoning is I got Game Pass. and Game Pass for me is so attractive and draws me in and gives me access to so many games. Not to mention, I got more games on the Xbox than anything. But if I didn't have games and Game Pass was the only thing, this is where I'm at. So even to the point, guys, that I can honestly say, even if a PlayStation 5 became available tomorrow, I wouldn't purchase it, because there's nothing on that platform at this point, at this moment, that's really calling my attention to run out and get a PlayStation 5. And that's just me. Don't hate on me. Have your opinions, whatever, if that's your preferred console. I'm not knocking it. I'm sure it's wonderful. It's great. But for me to get a PlayStation 5 now would be pointless, because I won't play it. I just won't at all. So that's my 2 bits on that and why I traded up. And yeah. So I hope my PlayStation 4 Pro finds a happy home where it's going to get a lot of game time. So let me close up, guys, with asking you guys something. And Jay is going to interject. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No, I just want to give an update on something. A couple of you cats know
you giving us
I did
views?
get another R.
Oh, okay, go.
Well,
go
no, I got
the
for the people who don't know, I got another arcade 1-up machine.
So hold on. How many arcade machines you got now?
6, and probably 7 if you keep bringing up Mortal Kombat like a jerk, because that's what you've been doing to me.
This man, listen, I've been to Jay's living residence, let's call that his dwelling place, and I'm just like, where are you gonna put another machine? This guy got 6 arcade 1-up machines, but it looks sweet though.
So latest one was Pac-Man Legacy Edition. It was a great edition.
Nice.
I haven't really sat down and messed with it yet, but for those of you who are interested in stuff like this, once again, I collect arcade 1-up machines for the nostalgia of I grew up in arcades and worked in one. And it just kind of like you got collectors, like I'm sure Sleek is a old school collector of old school games, which
hard copies.
I respect that.
Hard
copies. He has which have value, but arcade 1-up is just a different kind of thing for me. I remember dropping my quarters in these machines, and I remember walking in and hearing the sounds and seeing the gritty and the people excited, and it's a nostalgia thing for me. So I may got another 3 machines left before I tap out, but I might not make it that far. But I say that now. And Mortal Kombat Legacy, if I see it in the wild, that's probably coming home.
You gonna give it a home? I know.
Oh no, it's coming home. I
Yeah.
ain't giving it. No, it's
Yeah.
this thing. It ain't coming to the pound. It's coming home with me. I mean, it's gonna get a ring. I'm getting papers. It is what it is.
This man. Well, hey, you know what? That'll definitely be a good pick up there. Mortal Kombat. I actually like Mortal Kombat better than Street Fighter. But again, that's my take on that. But guys, I'm going to shut it down. To be honest, I'm gonna save one last topic here. I'm just gonna carry it over to the next podcast. But yeah, we did it. This is podcast DFG episode 50, the big 50. So thank you guys. I want to thank you guys on the panel as we are going to close with any closing remarks. Where we started again, and if you go back and you listen to those first episodes,
dear God.
Yeah, it is nothing like what you are hearing now. We're much more polished, I think. But that's how it is, guys. Let me give you words of encouragement. We're still a fairly new podcast. But we just didn't wake up and start doing this. I started back in 2015, on the end of 2015. That's where I met Sleek. I was on Mixer, didn't have plans to stream, but I just said, hey, I'm gonna do this. And I started off with the actual Xbox built-in app to stream, and from there I just said, hey, I like this, and I started investing, and there's some stuff that's coming that I don't want to let out of the bag right now, but let's just say that this has become something that has fueled a specific gifting and passion that I am coming to grips with even now, and hope to develop even further. Again, not just here at Drama Free Gaming, but on other venues as well. So with that, I just want to thank each and every one of you who has tuned in to listen, whether here on youtube.com/Drama Free Gaming or over at anchor.fm/DFG podcast, and anywhere that you're listening to this podcast. Please share it out. Just have fun as always. And let me just turn it over in whatever order you guys want to give any closing remarks, and then we'll shut it down here and call it a night. Go for it, guys.
Okay, well, since everybody just wants to be quiet. Go ahead, Sleep.
I think Henyo dropped out. That's why I went silent there. I was gonna wait until Henyo Dark Dad.
I'll check to see.
Yeah, but go ahead, Dark.
Well, I've definitely want to say I've watched End Time from his very humble and earthly beginnings doing this. I've always I didn't meet Sleek until later on. I heard about him, but never knew about him. And when I got to know him, Sleek is a cool cat, good dude. Then then Henyo came on later, and I want to say thank you first off to you two guys for not only hanging in there with us, and both of you, being special guests, being on the panel, having fun, laughing, joking it up. I want to thank End Time for at least giving everybody the platform and the chance to just be ourselves and just let it kind of hang out in the gaming world. Because without you doing this, we wouldn't be sitting right here talking today.
Thank you, sir.
And oh yeah. And it was rough back in the day. We did 0-0.
Don't go there. Just let people discover that on their own.
Okay. I'll say it in this light. This brother anytime he does his thing. And once again, I just want to thank you, Henyo. I want to thank you as well for just being here. I know you a late addition to the couch, but you got your seat, and it's always warm waiting on you and sleep. You always pop in and out like the legendary beast that you are. That's brother's either hiding in the shadows or he just out here like, all right. It's like, wait, I see a Sleek out here, and then he just gone. But then he pops up again. So we love you, man. Thank you, Sleek. Thank you, Henyo. Thank you both for being here. And thank you for everybody who listens to all these grumpy old men, whether we stammer, whether we ramble, whether you don't like what we say or whether you do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for listening.
Only grumpy one here is you.
I'll take that.
That's a flavor you bring. That's all good. That's all good.
Hey.
Sleek, any words that you want to say, man? We missed your brother today, Ace, but he's out playing Outriders and having fun, and that's all good. Sleek?
I'm a quick-spoken fellow, but I appreciate you guys having me as always, and I'm glad I'm a part of this community, and I've been there for a while, just like Dark, but like Dark said, we met a little ways afterwards, but everyone here is good people, and I appreciate it, and anyone who's not a part of the community, I would highly suggest it. It's a good time, everyone gets along, and we're always up for some type of gaming.
Most definitely.
And I definitely want to say, you guys, join the Discord, because sometimes our Discord chats are off the chain.
They are.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, join the Discord. Even if you don't say nothing, sometimes we absolutely go off on tangents. And me and Sleep drop anime gifts all the time, and it's hilarious. So, I mean, please, feel free to express yourselves here on this platform. Henyo, take us home with your old gray-headed
before
self.
Henyo says something, I just put the link on the screen. You'll see it there. So if you make your way over, you're more than welcome, guys, to join up, and yeah, that'd be great. Go ahead, Henyo.
I just want to say I can't believe you sold your PlayStation for an Xbox X mobility.
This brother still harping on that.
It's all good. It's all good.
No, this is where I dropped off, and I didn't get to hear the conversation. Or like when I came back, Jay was talking about his arcade, which looks awesome, dude. That arcade row is very impressive. Props to you, and to the space that you have for it. So God bless you and your family. I hope you enjoy that. Yeah, I'm so privileged to be part of this community. Sam, we go so far back.
Yeah, man.
These conversations kind of level me out throughout the whole week. Whatever happens throughout the whole week, these conversations with you guys helps level me out. And that's a big impact, because what I go throughout the whole week, is a big, like, bag to carry, and then to arrive here and converse with you guys, laugh with you guys, and enjoy our time together just takes that whole load off and makes it all the worthwhile. I didn't think I would probably be on this long, but appreciate you guys having me on and enjoying the conversation, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying the format. I feed Sam some ideas, some work, some don't. But I'm just glad that you guys are open to it, and the conversations on DFG are the highlight of my day. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. I look forward to many more.
That's awesome, and I appreciate what each and every one of you guys have said, and I have to say this, and I didn't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. I was thinking about who are we here at DFG, at Drama Free Gaming, and what are we really doing? Guys, I think each of you have said it in your own way. We're here. Just like some men gather and they have a poker night, or they have a bowling night, or it's just a time for us to really look forward to. And like what Henyo said, I think Jay said it in his own way, Sleek as well. You know, we can lay down our cares, we can let loose, we can talk about something, but we're trying to not only engage with you guys who are listening to this, even if it's after the fact, but as men, we understand, or we're beginning to understand, in my case, it is necessary for us to engage one another. You know, there can't be no lone wolves. Lone wolf is the person who thinks he's cool, but if you understand that the lone wolf is really the reject, you know, it's the one that couldn't run with the pack. And so
Wait,
we're
not to cut you
we're
off.
just trying to be here and be men and yeah, and learning. We're learning from one
Not to
another.
cut you off,
But you
but
did.
I know I didn't mean to,
Go
but
ahead.
but what I want to say is, and I don't know if this pertains to anybody else, but I think if I'm right, if I'm reading the room right, I think everybody in this, whether you're on the panel, whether you've listened to us, or you're listening to us, I should say, if you've ever felt like an outcast, like you didn't belong, like you were a lone wolf, you have a pack. Because everybody here is a pack. We all talk to each other. We all make sure we okay. So don't be like In Time said, don't be a lone wolf. You looking for a pack? Just
Yeah.
be real when you come in here. And you know, everybody's accepting so long as you ain't a jerk.
Yeah. The platform, you know, the platform is here because of you guys, and will remain here because of you guys, because I can easily be doing something else, but I don't want to. You see, I know that this is what, like I kind of said in the beginning, I'm built for, and it comes naturally to me, and it's so much more. And again, I'm not gonna let the cat out the bag, but there's stuff that even now I'm already developing, and we're going to all be a part of that. That's going to bring us, I think, even closer and cause us to grow in another way, in another capacity. But as men, you know, being brothers, we're a band of brothers. We're men. As individuals, we're fathers. We're leaders in our own respect, and so it's necessary. It's necessary, but let's not get into that because we've already even gone down that rabbit hole. But we'll talk some more about that at another time. And stuff is coming, guys. But thank you again. As always, we appreciate you. Hope that you continue to do well. Be good to one another. Do good. And as always, guys, remember, keep your gaming and your life drama free. Later.
And don't forget, Mortal Kombat drops at 12 tonight on HBO Max. I'm watching.
Yes, it does.
Double XP this weekend on MLB the Show.
Sleep.
April 27th, Monster Hunter Rise has a digital event.